Is this thing on? Oh, what up, YouTube? Today's video is kind of going to be all over the place. Yeah, I blew up my RX7. That's the title of the video, or something to do with that. But we're going to do a few things around the garage before I get into talking about that and the plans for the RX7 moving forward. That's the Jeep. All right, so first thing on the list today is getting some lights installed in the garage because these are just not cutting it. Check out the plate for the RX-7 though, FD RX-7. Super hyped, those just came in. Sucks though that the car's blown up, but yeah, those came in at least. All right, just had to push the car out of the garage so I could get access to hang up the other two LED bars. So let's go do that. So these lights are actually pretty cool. You just get a nice little self tapper there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it just self taps and then holds a bracket in on both sides. All right, moment of truth. Oh, that's insane. Solid. Now we got lighting. All right, honestly not really sure where we left off yesterday. I had to bounce and go on a nice little date night with my girlfriend, which is awesome, but the lights are done. So these are them. Just got 6 up for now. I'll fill out the rest of the garage, but honestly, it's plenty of brightness. Like, the lighting's so much better. I also went and picked up a new jack yesterday. I got the 1.5 ton Daytona from Harbor Freight. Gotta love Harbor Freight. So there's 2 more things that I want to do before I sit down and talk and let you guys know, like, the future of this car and my plans on rebuilding it. But we got some OEM screws from Mazda, and these guys are going to be for the headlight housing. So I'll pop those up, go ahead and get these installed. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and hit the headlight housing with one of these. Just get them looking nice and brand new again. Now, I probably should be wearing gloves doing this, but there's one down. All right, both of those are coated. I'm just gonna go ahead and let them sit for a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but this looks way, 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 way better to me. All right, I can confidently say that that looks a million times better. Oh my God. That coating stuff from, I think it's McGuire's, is just, man, it's a lifesaver. Yeah, that looks a million times better, and we got the correct hardware in there. All right, we got one last thing to do before I sit down and let you guys know what the plans are for this car. How are we gonna rebuild it? And that is throw this license plate on. We got the plate FD RX7, super dope, with the skier, of course, so I'm hyped. All right. This kind of works, right? I bought this RX-7 about a year ago, and over the winter, I decided to install the Haltech 2500, kind of just refresh everything, all the nuts and bolts, replace all the hardware with some nice zinc-coated stuff, kind of, clean up the underside, make it presentable, kind of just do your typical engine upgrades. Redid a lot of the wiring when installing the Haltech 2500. Got the thing tuned by the boy Nelson. Thing was running great on the base map. I actually started dailying it. So I drove it to work 30 minutes, back home 30 minutes. So about an hour of driving every single day, and it was going great. But I was on a limit of 5 pounds of boost on the stock twins. Never went above 5,000 RPMs. So I never really got to activate that second turbo. So I eventually got the time to get this thing off the base map, get some real pulls in, and yeah, get the full tune done with Nelson. And we noticed that the second turbo wasn't actuating. And that was actually my fault. When redoing a lot of the wiring and the silicone vacuum lines, I actually left the turbo control solenoid unplugged. So that's what was preventing that second turbo from actuating and engaging. Went ahead and got that plugged back in, and Nelson let me know that the tune was ready to go. I just needed to watch my boost and make sure that I was getting up to 12 pounds of boost if that second turbo actually wanted to engage. Sure enough, once that turbo control solenoid was plugged back in, I went from 3,000 RPMs up to like around 7K. Second turbo turned on perfectly right on time, right around 4,500 RPMs. Was watching the boost on the Haltech on my laptop. We were right at 12 pounds. Everything was great. I was like, hell yeah, we hit 12 pounds of boost. The power felt incredible. It was amazing. And so I, got back into third gear, got ready for another pull from 3,000. And this time I was going to take it all the way. And then I was going to kind of wrap it up, get back with Nelson, let him know that I got everything fixed up, and we could kind of, revisit the tune, make sure everything was good. So on that pull, kind of the second that second turbo actuated, the turbos immediately, they went. The turbos blew. Not 100% sure yet, exactly what the cause of that was, but this car has 113,000 miles on it. It's the stock twins, so I was already expecting those to go relatively soon. But my plan for the car was to max out those twins, the stock 13B, and see what kind of power we could push on that through the summer. And then next winter, I would pull the motor again, do a full Bridgeport, get the single turbo conversion going. I had plans on doing the 7670 Borg Warner because I already have that kit from Turblom. Through the process of figuring out, what direction do I want to go with this car now that the stock twins are gone, we have a sneaking suspicion that the coolant seals are gone as well. So motor's got to come out, twin turbos got to go. So I spoke with Nelson, and he recommended me to Lucky 7 Racing in, I believe they're like just outside of LA. I'd heard of them before. I'm a huge fan of Lucky 7. It's really the only Rotary shop that I would trust to take this car to, or get advice on, what kind of supporting mods do I need right now to make this Bridgeport as functional as possible, as streetable, as responsive, and just, overall a fun daily highway cruiser kind of thing. I do have plans on taking to the track here and there, but, overall I just want it to be a fun, as reliable as it can be, daily kind of highway cruiser, Lucky 7 let me know that the 7670 kit, the Borg Warner, will actually choke out the Bridgeport. Now, I don't really understand the technical side of that. I do understand that I'll be going to an 8474 Borg Warner EFR with a 1.05 AFR, which to my understanding, anything less than that on the rear housing of the turbo on the exhaust side of things is kind of what chokes out the Bridgeport and why that 7670 won't work. I believe that's a 0.95 AFR. I could be wrong about that, but it's a little bit smaller, and I guess that will choke out the Bridgeport. So I already got the new Turbolone kit on the way with the V2 external wastegate manifold. So I'll have 2 dump tubes with the Turbo Smart wastegates. Yeah, nice 8474 EFR. Slapped onto that thing. That was all the advice of Friss over at Lucky 7 Racing. And instead of me actually pulling the motor and doing the build series here, what I'm going to do is actually send the car down to Lucky 7 Racing. They'll be able to get it up and running a lot faster than I will be able to. And, maybe we can still enjoy this car this summer and get some good content. So that's the plans as of now. I'm sure they'll let me come down there and do some content with them and, go over the build once they're done. I would much rather the experts take this thing apart, port it for me. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for Apex seals yet. People have been driving me crazy with that. There's all these different companies for that. And, you know, hardnesses of, what do they call it? It's like the heat treatment rating. Whether you want to go with soft Apex seals or hard Apex seals, ones that don't break. I don't know. So that's just why I think it's better to just leave it up to the experts. They do this all the time. They race their cars. They've been doing this for, who knows, probably 20 plus years. I don't know. Ugh. Anyways, I'm stoked. I hope you guys are too. I think there's a really bright future for this car, and I got a lot of really cool content planned for it. And so that's why I want it back as fast as possible. I don't want to miss summer and, you know, have this car be put away for the winter again when it's all snowy outside and not get to use it. So I'm tired of seeing this thing sit in this garage. I know it's only been like 2 weeks now, but let's get this thing back up on the road. With that being said, peace the fuck out.